then you can bounce out real
Right.
quick and
Yeah,
come back
I
in.
may
Okay.
be I may be
Yeah,
muted
we don't
here
want
for
you
a
to
second.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it works this time. Look at those good pictures. Man.
I know. Look at those.
I forgot what I was looking for.
5,
Oh.
4, 3.
Why do you do that? Like every
2,
time. It's as
1.
good as the
And we're live.
Hi,
Yes.
everybody.
I timed that just right.
hey everyone.
How's it going, y'all? How's it
He's
going?
been practicing really
I've been
hard.
practicing.
Very
I have
hard.
been practicing.
So hard.
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 Oh gosh. So we're gonna give everyone a few minutes to join, a couple seconds to join. We got our first visitor coming in. Hey, when you come in, say hi to us. Tell us who's in here, because sometimes we don't see all y'all. Sometimes we do.
Exactly. Say something.
Yes, we are really excited to be here for y'all. Should I find something organic, you think?
For Tuesday Mayo. There we go.
Like,
That's what I'm putting.
What do you mean organic?
Like
No pesticides?
I wonder if I can get away with just a picture. If I can get away with a picture of oh, this was gonna be nasty. I'm gonna do this one.
Yeah.
He said this is gonna be nasty.
I don't even want to see it.
Oh, this is nasty. Okay, we gotta
Oh my gosh.
talk about y'all's day. So how did y'all's day go today? While y'all do that, it'll give me time to prep this picture up.
Let's see.
Well, my day, I actually slept in a little later than I wanted to.
Your alarms didn't go off?
Yeah. But I felt like I was productive today. So I was going to take my new slightly used bicycle and go to the bike shop and get it repaired and refurbished or whatever. Yeah. So I called them and they're like, yeah, we're 3 weeks out on repairs.
Oh no, I believe it, dude. Yeah. I believe it.
I'm like, oh, 3 weeks?
And you're like, that's for everybody else, but what about for me?
Right. I was like, I'm like, I don't care what everybody else is, but
you're like, I'm sorry, I must have misunderstood the question. You must have misunderstood the question.
Right,
How
exactly.
long for me?
Right. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to learn how to work on a bicycle now?
So wait, what's wrong with the bike though?
No, it's got some. There's nothing like majorly wrong with it, but it's an older. Like some of the parts are older, and like the cables need to be replaced, and little things like that. I'm not very strong in that area, so that's why I'm trying to. I was like, well, I could either spend money and have professionals do it, or I could either spend money and have me screw it up.
Well, and. You know, you say that about the bikes and you say yours is older. Well, listen to this. So I'm assuming that ours was put together at the store. I don't think that they ship them put together.
Right.
So Eric had to take mine apart because the steering wheel, it's not a steering wheel, the steering, what are they called? Handlebars.
Handlebars,
okay.
Yeah.
I had it in my head. But...
We're kind of off, like it's not balanced properly. So you had to take them apart and put them back. And then there's some clicking going on. So, I mean, it's supposed to be like a vintage cruiser. I mean, it's literally sounds like it's a vintage cruiser. Like I picked it up at Goodwill, not a brand new bike. And it's crazy.
Is it a screaming demon?
Yeah. And I'm like, we need some WD-80 up in here because 40 just ain't going to cut it.
I like that.
But anyway, so it's not just your old used. Ours is like that too.
Oh, he is old. Oh, sorry.
Wait a minute.
Sorry, I thought she finished that sentence earlier.
Slow your roll, people. Slow your roll.
Joe's got to get his chariot.
Okay, so Joe, we have this thing here in town. They created a tool library some years ago, and literally it's what she sounds like. So if you've ever needed a tool in almost any kind for a project at your home, well, you go to this place, you literally check out the tool you need, whether it be a power washer, lawnmower, one of those the things that till up the earth, a tiller, anything woodworking, all that stuff. You go and you literally check out the tool for a week, and then you bring it back for free. So, guys, especially for you guys in Bloomington Normal, it's awesome. I live right down the road from it. Look for the tool library. So, Joe, maybe check out a place like that in town. But what I was getting to is they've since expanded what they do than just doing tool library. They do a lot of stuff. But one of the things particularly that relates to what you're talking about is they have a free bike clinic. And what you do is you bring your bike to the tool library. They have a huge room they've expanded out to. And they have people on site who are experts who will help you tune up, modify, repair your bike. And they have tons of success stories.
Joe, go ahead and start that up. Get on that.
Oh yeah, because I don't. Yeah, I'll start it and then I'll fix mine first, and then I'll hand it off to somebody.
Yes.
There you go.
You'll be the founding father of the library toolbox.
Yeah, we have 3 repair shops here in town, and all of them are 3 weeks backed up.
Yeah.
Or they're just telling me that, so I won't come in and add to their.
Well, hopefully after showing tonight, they'll be like, "Oh, wait a minute, it's that Joe. We need to come in."
Exactly.
You need to tell them you're a local celebrity.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
I was like, did you not see the name in my email that I sent you?
Right.
Come on.
Per my email.
I'm like semi-famous.
Right?
I'm definitely like on the T in the T.
Man, if you want me to call him after the show, I'll call him and leave a message for you, man.
Yeah, thanks.
You shouldn't have to do that yourself.
I sent them another email. They replied back. There's one of them was like, yeah, it's 3 weeks, blah blah blah, and I was like, well, can I put my name on a list? Because my bike is rideable. I just don't want it to sit there for 3 weeks. And then the one guy was like, no, you just need to keep calling back.
Wow.
Man, so, and then I was like, okay, well, I got YouTube University. I could do this.
You totally can, dude.
Yeah, and then I was like, I don't know where to order the stuff from. like Amazon. Like Amazon has the cables and stuff to replace, but I don't know, man.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's frustrating.
It sounds like a first world problem to me.
That is frustrating.
It is definitely a first world problem.
Oh, wait a minute. Can we take a pause real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, we can. I'll let you.
All right. So thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to hopefully do this successfully, seeing as my notifications are going off like crazy. But guys, wanted to do a business shout out tonight. And so for my business, I wanted to give a shout out to is Ivy Lane Bakery. So a few weeks back, I brought a cookie on the show that I just happened to eat towards the end because I forgot about it. And I was like, oh, this is so good. These guys make the most amazing sugar cookies I've ever tasted in my life. And I normally don't like sugar cookies because I always think about Walmart or Wally World and how they have those really sugary, like it kicks your teeth in thing. And these guys don't have that. But they have a bunch of good stuff, okay? Check this out. These are their scones for the week. They have raspberry, cinnamon sugar, espresso chocolate chip, and mango coconut. That looks good.
Mango coconut.
A few weeks back, they had like a cherry vanilla or strawberry and cream scone. That was awesome. Here they have lemon crumb, donut muffin, blueberry, and oatmeal chocolate chip muffins. These are all
donut muffin.
Isn't that crazy?
What does that even mean? To Lubbock? Because that looks really good.
No, but they do have curbside pickup here in Bloomington that I'm very familiar with, and they do come out to you.
So you could go pick it up, and then you could ship it to us.
I could. That's a big
overnight.
Two of their specialty cookies, snickerdoodles and double chocolate.
I feel like he's ignoring.
And I'll take a dozen of the double chocolate.
They had a couple that they didn't get to put in the picture here. They said there was cookies and cream and Italian grape bar.
Is this thing working? I could have sworn I just asked for it.
Can you hear our order? Hello?
Do I need to turn out my mic? Because it doesn't seem like it's working.
So these are the items that the Ivy Lane Bakery is sharing tonight. So you can go to their Facebook page. We linked it up in the comments already. But if you're here in Bloomington, they're in 405 North Main. And you'll find them in downtown Bloomington. Not uptown normal, downtown Bloomington. Their number's 309-585-1774. Call them, and they even have a text number you can text and be like, look, can I get some cookies right now? And they're like, what time are you going to come by? And be like, what? 10 minutes. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And they're like, all right, we got it in for you. And
man, that sounds really good. So there's a cookie place here that delivers. It's open 24 hours that I need to order from now.
What's it called? Well, do that tomorrow.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'll do it tomorrow.
That's a good idea.
I'm like, I want cookies.
Yeah, there's a cookie shop here that we used to go to frequently, Insomnia Cookies, and those guys are good. But
that's it. The same one here.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's it. That's why I couldn't remember the name, because, Insomnia.
Oh, okay.
Did you? So you did write down my order, though, because I just want to make sure.
I found my pen. Yep. Thought I lost this.
And it was where?
Way to change the subject.
With my notebook.
Way to change the subject. I see how it goes. It's all right. It's whatever.
With your memo pad.
My memo pad. My toilet pad pro. My toilet pad roll.
Toilet pad pro.
Yeah. So how was your day, Sandy?
So my day was really good. My most favoriteest chiropractor is back, and I went and got popped. Oh man. I just told him, I'm like, just seeing you makes me feel so much better. And he's like, just get in here. Quit this.
Man,
I have a line. Can you go ahead?
you'll be here in 3 weeks, Sandy. Come back in 3 weeks.
Yeah, he did have a line, and he's like, okay, just get in here. He said, I know you're hurting.
Oh man, does this guy do the? Have y'all seen that guy on YouTube who does the humdinger?
Which one's that one?
So you lay down on your back, and then you pop your legs up like a chair on its back, and then he wraps around your neck, and then he just yanks almost yanks your head off of your shoulders.
Yes, he's amazing. He's like, Sandy, this is a wrestling move. I just learned it yesterday. Let me try it. The first time he tried it on me, I'm telling you what, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, when I leave there, I can be in the worst pain. When I leave there, I always text Eric, I feel like $1,000,000 because
Right.
man, I feel so good. Like, I didn't realize how bad I was. Like, I couldn't turn my neck so far. And now, I mean, I can roll it all the way around. But that was really the highlight of my day, is just being able to see him. So, and he's like, I'm going to be retiring soon. I said, not on my watch, you're not.
You're like, no.
Yeah. You can tell me you're not seeing anyone else, just me.
Right.
I'm okay with you saying that.
I will go hunt you down. I will be knocking at your door.
Oh, so he needs to be the business that you plug next time.
Oh, that's a good one.
And you know what? I should have asked him, but I'm going to have to go back next week to see him just because I still needed some more help.
Yeah.
But he's
Awesome.
awesome now.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how was your day,
Jamie?
Mr. Pena?
Oh gosh, guys, I did a Facebook Live before we came on here.
I watched.
I was like, you did. I know, Sandy. Thank you. You came on, but I had I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna try to leave it all down or whatever. I had a rough day. I started off what I thought I had a headache, and so I popped some ibuprofen, and it wouldn't go away. But it didn't feel like a normal headache either, and I was just like, man, something's off. And so I texted my wife, and she was like, come home, take your blood pressure, and just be prepared to go to the hospital in case something goes on. And I was like, okay. So came home, and I'm good with those phone calls on the short drives between places, guys, right? When I don't do those and I'm not in the mood to listen to music, I do a lot of intro, whatever. And so I was doing that, and I could just feel all kinds of things. So I get home, and my wife says, how's your blood pressure? I was like, it's good. It's all green. And she was like, is everything okay? And I was like, no, I can feel it. I know it. I was like, I'm a deeply emotional guy. And I was like, everything's in there. I was like, it's there's a lot of stuff that happened last week. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. And I was like, it's all welling up, and it is taking a huge emotional stroll. I was like, I just want to yell, scream, and cry like all at the same time. And she was like, don't leave that bottled in. I was like, I'm not going to. So, but I just need, I don't know the healthy way right now to do that. And so I went to sleep. This was around 11:30. And then I woke up about 6 o'clock, and I was like, what just happened?
Hashtag nap together 6 feet apart, dude.
And I feel a lot better now, but I was like, man, that nap or whatever it was.
That was a power nap. That was a power nap.
Totally.
Did you wake up and wonder what year you were in?
Sandy, I was like,
And then
what's going on?
Dang, it's still 2020.
Yeah.
It's still Jumanji.
Still Jumanji.
Next level, please. That's all that was. So,
well, I'm glad you get that in.
Yeah.
I was about to start watching your live, and then I fell asleep. So I was like, the nap is strong with me today. So I'm gonna
I
go
imagine
ahead
you
and
like
take
this.
it.
You're with the mouse, and you're like, let me click over here on Jamie.
Yeah.
No, see, I was already laying down, and I had the phone right here, and I was like, oh, there's Jamie. He's going live.
And you know what? I believe it, because you men have a sleep button when it comes to the couch.
Oh man!
I just sit down and y'all are out.
It's done. It's
Yeah,
done.
I'm so glad that I have an alarm for the show, because I would have kept
You
going.
just go through it, right?
That's why when I first got in, I was like, oh, it's showtime. But
Right.
Yeah, when Dekisa used to talk to me, when Dr. Pineapple used to talk to me, she used to be like, why do you always fall asleep? I'm like, what? We talking?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
yeah, true. None of the above.
72.
Now
42.
I've already told you, open your eyes and say amen. I've been saying this whole time.
Well, awesome. So, okay. we've all talked about our days, but we've got a guest out here that we want to introduce to
Oh
everyone.
my gosh.
And look, we had a challenging time last week with him, so today we're going to redo this all again, and we're going to do it proper. We're going to do it proper for Mr. Mayo. He is going to come on today and talk about our traveling thing. But Sandy, you know him better than us, so why don't you kind of hype him up a little bit before he comes in?
Okay, so this is my friend Jonathan Mayo. I met him, I want to say in 2009, and I met him out at the boxing club. He was going to Tech at the time. I mean, awesome, awesome kid. You know, he's a kid. I mean, I feel so old when I say that. But anyway, so I've just kept in touch with him, and then he recently started up a Instagram. It's Guns Up Around the World, and so that just intrigued me. And oh my gosh. So anyway, his name is Jonathan Mayo, but we always called him Mayo. It was just easier.
Yeah.
That is not a picture of him.
No, it's not totally not.
Welcome, Mayo.
All right, so let's welcome him. Hey, Mayo.
Hey, Mayo.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. As though it's the
Hello.
first time. It's like deja vu, kind of, right?
Oh yeah, except this time I can actually hear what y'all are saying, and it doesn't sound like y'all are underwater. So
Oh my God,
fantastic. and I can respond in real time.
man!
That's awesome.
I'm so sorry about last week. That must have been as challenging. If anyone wants to go back and watch last week's episode, Tuesday's episode of this, you can see how we were just very like, we're not all going to talk. Sandy and I were like, we're going to keep quiet. Joe
Yes.
trying to keep the conversation going, and
So we just decided we'll let Joe do all the talking because it's like you wanted to get in and say something, but you were just like, he's not going to hear it.
no,
No, I didn't hear it at all. And it was an old iPad that I had, and I thought it was the best thing, that I had. And turns out whenever I got off the iPad and I actually got on my phone a little bit later on,
it worked
the sound, the aquarium went away. So I was no longer underwater. I'm no
so what
longer
you're saying is an iPad wasn't as useful as some people think it is, right?
Well, whenever it was the iPad Mini 4 from let's say 5 years ago. Well, with technology these days, anything that's over like 2 or 3 years old is just obsolete.
Yeah.
That is true. You know what though? I've had and we should knock on some wood, but I've had my Surface Pro Surface book for about 4 years now, and I'm like, oh, any day now it's going to go out.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to have any backups.
Man, those Surface books are nice, though. I'm not gonna lie. I've handled 2 of them in my job for the CEO. The CEO of my company has a Surface book.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are awesome. So
well, and I've always been fortunate enough that the outside the companies that I work for in outside sales, they've either given me a laptop or like a Surface Pro with a touch screen and a thing. But this is the first company that I've worked for that gave me an iPad instead of an actual laptop. So I actually had to call my mom. Just recently got a new laptop and finally talked her into it after, like 10, 15 years of no computer whatsoever. Because same thing, she used her computer at work. And so, it was just one of those things. And finally, we got internet out at my parents' house, and so we were able to get her a computer. So I'm on her laptop right now. So thanks, Mom. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you, man. Mama. Mom's come to save the day, Mayo. Mama
do.
Mayo's there to save you out. So
Mama Mayo, and her first name is Teresa, so I like to call her Mother Teresa.
No, Mother Teresa Mayo. Thank you so much.
I like that. All right, so let's get down to it. You have got a quite a traveling list here. I'm trying to pull up my slide. I got a slideshow prepared so that it's got some of the pictures that you've been to. But before I get into that, why don't you kind of tell folks about why traveling? What is it about Mayo, and who is Mayo that travel and Mayo went together, kind of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, it was just one of those things where I grew up in Texas, and the first time I ever moved away from home was whenever I went out to school to go to Lubbock, to go to Texas Tech, and where I met Sandy. And that was just kind of where my eyes opened for the first time. And it was like, you know what? There's more than just my bubble and my reality here in East Texas. And so I got out and started exploring the world a little bit. And really and truly, my passion and where I love to travel is for baseball parks. And I know we kind of talked a little bit about this last time, but it was whenever I worked for a company whose headquarters was in Chicago, Illinois, that I got to go up there for a work trip and went to Wrigley Field. And Wrigley Field was the first time I had ever been to a baseball park outside of, the ballpark in Arlington, which is, where I love my Texas Rangers. So that's where we always were.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that, you sit behind home plate and you look out in the field and you actually see buildings and landscape and like the kind of the downtown feel. So that's kind of actually where I fell in love with baseball parks and wanted to start traveling and seeing other places. And so I've seen 21 baseball parks. There's 2 parks that I've had the privilege of going to that no longer have baseball there. That would be the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, and Turner Field in Atlanta, Georgia, which they've gotten new baseball parks. And then it was supposed to be this year. We were supposed to go to the new Globe Life Field, and I had tickets to opening day. But
man!
But that's okay. And so that would have been another ballpark I could have checked off my list. But yeah, there's 30 teams in Major League Baseball, and I've got 11 baseball parks to go. So 21 down, 11 to go, and then there's rumors and there's talks about the Oakland Athletics getting a new baseball field in the year like 2023 or 2024. So that'll be another one once I get to it that I'll be able to go and see. And so if any baseball team gets a new baseball park while I'm still alive, then hey, that's another park I can go and cross off my list. So.
Did you guys, by any chance, see the video where they're doing a graduation there at the new the Rangers Stadium, and the girl's going up to get her to receive her certificate or whatever, and she slides in, and she's like, she wanted to be the first one to slide into home.
Oh, no way.
Down.
So I saw that they were having graduations at the new ballpark, and my first thought was, dang it, why couldn't I be a high school graduate this year so that I could be there? But you saying that, Sandy, that makes me super jealous.
I know, you can go watch it.
Yeah, so a little revelation from me, Mayo. I don't like baseball. It's one of the few things in this world that I hate.
Oh my God, hate is such a strong word.
I'm sorry, but it belongs there. It belongs there. I'm sorry. For me, no, I hate it.
Oh my God.
But like everything you said about it, though, I love like the idea, the inspiration, the dream, the memories, and the goals, and the visiting all these places, and you talking about like the skylines and the background, and even Sandy, the whole thing with the graduation. Like those are cool things. Those to me don't necessarily, in my brain at least, they don't equate with baseball, but it just sounds like amazing experiences too, though.
Well, the way that I look at it is that, I mean, if you go to a football game or a basketball game, any other sport, you have to be concentrated on what's going on the field, because you could miss a really, really important play. And the cool thing about baseball is that, the ebb and flow is really kind of on the slower side as far as other sports grow. I've actually heard somebody tell me one time that they would much rather watch grass grow than to watch a baseball game. And
you must have heard that from me.
But
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I don't take offense to it whatsoever, because I mean, my happy place is sitting in the stadium with a cold beer in one hand and a hot dog in the other hand, just watching them, play out on the field. And
see, and I don't knock it for anyone. Like, when the Cubs won and their trophy was making its rounds up here in Illinois, because I'm in Illinois, I'm not in Texas. The trophy came over to State Farm. State Farm Insurance, their headquarters is here in Bloomington, Illinois, and the cup made it to headquarters, and you could go take pictures and everything with it. And I was like, I'm gonna go take a picture with it, because I don't like baseball, but my dad, he loves it, and he's there still in Lubbock, and he loved it, and he was like over the moon. Everyone was over the moon. I was over the moon, because I thought, I may not like the sport, but heck, I will totally. Everyone was enjoying it. It was a good, positive thing. You know what I mean? And that I can get behind. that. I'm okay. But please don't. I just won't go to a game though and watch it.
So I've been to a baseball game, and I've been to a couple baseball games. I love playing baseball. I can play baseball all day long. I can play softball, whatever we need to play. But when it comes to watching, oh my gosh, just stick me in my eye.
Right.
Well,
So
put it in your
listen-
eye and
Yeah.
stick a cold beer in your other hand.
Right, exactly.
And so it's this.
when-
Carrie's question is you're answering it, Joe. Carrie,
Yeah.
what Joe's saying, I'm behind what he's saying.
And they were two great teams. I was the Rangers versus the Yankees when A-Rod and Jeter were all playing, and we went there. Well, we went to the afternoon game, and we were 7 rows back from third base dugout. It was supposed to be the best seats, one of the best seats in the house, except there is no shade, and this is at Ranger Stadium,
Oh, in
and
Texas.
it was just we were just melting.
So Joe, have you ever watched bacon frying in a pan?
Right, yeah, that's
what an afternoon
exactly
game is.
it.
And everybody that I talk to, whenever I travel to these other baseball parks, I will wear my Rangers hat and I will, rep my home team. And so they'll ask me like, "Hey, the Rangers aren't playing. What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm a baseball fan, but this is my home team." And so
Right.
whenever I would tell people about it, they would say, "So the ballpark in Arlington was built in '94, and y'all are already building another one?" And I tell them, I say, "Sit through a Sunday afternoon baseball game
Yes.
and
like,
that again.
bake, and you'll understand why we're getting a new ballpark."
Yeah, I was miserable. We left to the 7th inning. Like the 7th inning stretch, we were supposed to, just stand up and stretch. No. We got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the score was. So I don't care.
Well, and I've actually heard of several stories that the whole reason why they were building a new ballpark is because the crowds that actually stay at home on a Sunday afternoon or just an afternoon baseball game, like they're missing out on so much money because people don't want to come because it's an afternoon game. And if you're sitting in the sun, it's, 110
yeah.
degrees. So
It's brutal. It was brutal.
That makes sense. Well, hopefully their seats will have like USB plugs so that you can plug in and play your video games or watch the game from the TV while you're there, because that might help out.
how old are you, Jamie? Are you like 12 years old? Because you want to do a baseball game to watch it on your phone.
I have bad eyes, so it helps if I watch them somewhere closer on. So
Coincidentally enough, I've been to a baseball game before where the parents took the kids for the first time, and the kids were probably like 8 or 9 years old. And in between innings, whenever they would start warming up, the kids would look at the parents and go, "Where are the commercials? I miss the commercials."
So
Oh my
we're
gosh.
the parents that take our kids, and we took them to one of the Rangers game where it was hot. I mean, we can't tell you how many drinks we bought, how much ice cream we bought. I mean,
and how many times you went to the bathroom?
Yeah, just to keep them happy. But yeah, Ranger Stadium, it's hot. And you said how many ballparks have you been to?
21.
So I've been to 21 major league ballparks.
Well, I don't mean to brag, but I've been to 3. So
Oh, hey, Sandy.
I was sitting here waiting for this huge number, but that was a number.
So let's see. We're at me 21, Sandy 3, Joe and Jamie 0. Gotcha.
No, I've been to 2.
No.
Oh,
I've
hey.
had maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, Rangers.
Definitely 1.
I went to the Rangers game, and then we went to an Oakland A's game. But we were way up there. Like it would have been better for me just to watch it on my phone. We were in nosebleed seats.
So we went to Rangers, we went to the Astros, and then I went to San Diego to the Padres.
San Diego.
Nice.
San Diego is in my top 5. So I've actually the ballparks. The main question that I get asked all the time whenever I tell people that I travel is, "What's your favorite ballpark? Which ballparks have you been to that's your favorite?" And so I rank the top 2 as Wrigley Field and Fenway Park, just because those are the 2 oldest baseball parks in the major leagues.
Yeah, those are classic.
They're both over 100 years old. And that was back in the days whenever they built the baseball parks to the square block that they had. So it wasn't like, like the new Ranger Stadium where they're just going to close this street and they're going to demo it off and they're going to, build this whole new ballpark, because they bought up all this land. It was like, here's your plot of land. And they built those old stadiums to fit those dimensions in those acreages. So those are the top 2, Wrigley Field and Fenway. And then my number 3 is Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It is sitting behind home plate and looking out into right field and seeing the Gateway Arch in St. Louis. It's,
really?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's beautiful, and it's a wonderful scene. And then, of course, number 4 is Oracle Park in San Francisco, because we set up on the 3rd level, and I mean, there's not so much as a cityscape in the background, but you can see Oakland in the background because it's on the other side of the bay, and you can also see the water. And whenever the sunset, I think I actually sent one of the pictures that I have in the slideshow. I think is the picture of the sunset in Oakland, and that's just really nice. And then, of course, number 5, like you said, Sandy, is Petco Park.
Yeah.
Petco Park.
Yep. So those are my top 5 baseball parks that I've visited, and I mean, there's so many good ones out there, but I would say those are definitely my top 5.
Well, we need to get off. We need to get off baseball.
I was about to say the same thing.
We need to get off baseball now. We don't care about that.
Slideshow. Now that you mentioned a slideshow, this is the travel show, and not the baseball.
We want to go across the pond, sir. Across the pond.
I swear he does that just to mess with me. All right, so
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
so bad. All right, so what we got here, everyone, is Mayo decided to. We asked him to give us some photos of some of the places he's been, and so we're just going to highlight some of those here. Or I'll let Sandy and Mayo take over.
Okay.
Mayo, take over.
So I took a picture of this. This is actually one of the nerdy things that I do whenever I travel. I'm very much a tourist whenever I go to travel places, and so what that is patches, iron-on patches of all the places that I've been to that I've gotten patches for. So, like you see, the San Diego Zoo is in there. Ellis Island is on there. A Chicago Fire patch. Paris, France. The Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, I like the Stonehenge one.
Yep, the Stonehenge one is really cool.
Oh, I see a Buc-ee's. I see a Buc-ee's.
Yeah. There's a Buc-ee's as well, and actually, right under Buc-ee's to the right, that is a patch from the 6th. I think it's called like the 6th floor museum, which was where they have the Kennedy exhibit in downtown Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yep. So. Where he was
That
assassinated.
USS Midway, is that the one that's in San Diego?
Yes, that is. The USS Midway's there. I've also got Pheno Hall in Boston. And then, of course, a couple of brewery patches. So whenever I was in St. Louis, I went to the Budweiser Brewery. Oh. And, of course, when you're in Boston, we went to
you went to Sydney, Australia, too?
Yep. Got to go to Sydney, Australia. So
and Titanic. Wait, that's in
Yeah, so the Titanic Museum, they actually have a Titanic Museum in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and that is actually where they built the Titanic and where it launched its maiden voyage over to England, which is where they loaded up and then were on their way to the New York whenever iceberg right ahead.
Right.
Iceberg right ahead.
Iceberg right ahead, sir. Yep. So that's that's most of the patches.
I'm going to do every single accent. And it's all going to be the same accent, but I'm going to pretend like they're all different.
Producer, will you help us out, please? All right.
Lovely.
Are these more patches?
No, so those are actually lapel pins. So I would actually collect lapel pins for the longest time, and I didn't know what to do, and especially because Bennigan's went out of business, so I wasn't able to buy a vest and flare out my.
Oh, you can flare it up.
So I actually saw this corkboard in Hobby Lobby and bought the corkboard and thought it would be a great idea to put all of my lapel pins.
That's
so
awesome.
Of course, it's got some. It's actually got the pin that I received whenever I graduated from Texas Tech on there, as well as like Paladuro Canyon, the Big Texan Steakhouse. Anytime I travel to a baseball park, I'll grab a pin there, or if it's opening day, I'll grab a pin.
What's the shark one over there?
Yeah, I saw that one too.
So the shark one, I believe, is Australia. The one in the top left is actually a killer whale.
Good day, mate. Good day.
That is from SeaWorld in San Diego.
What about, so I see the one for Taos. So
Yep.
for any who doesn't know, we'll have to do something on a Freaky Friday in the future. But in Taos, New Mexico, there's a hum that people hear there. Did you hear it?
Taos hum.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. Not everyone hears it, but it drives certain people mad because it's a constant hum, and that people used to think they were crazy because they couldn't hear it until we got all this high tech stuff, and they found out that there is a low hum on a lower frequency that can't be heard by human ears normally. So
wow.
it's strange that so many people report that they can hear the hum. Anyway, we'll do more on a Freaky Friday, but that's a good one to talk about.
I've
Oh,
skied
right.
there.
Huh?
I've gone skiing in Taos.
We just ate breakfast at a local restaurant, and actually at the time I was a snowboarder, and at that time Taos did not allow snowboarders on their mountain because it was too steep or too dangerous. So, but I believe now since then they've opened it up to snowboarders.
Cool.
It's all because of global warming.
So, but yeah, this one is what I'm really proud of.
Your hard rock.
Is that like a frame you like you know how they do on Facebook, or is that real? Am I looking at a real frame?
So that is actually a real frame that was originally $60 at Hobby Lobby that I found on sale for $20. And so it's wooden frame on the outside. Oh, I'm real proud of it because whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. And those are all my hard rock pins from every hard rock that I've been to. And I've been to 38 hard rock locations.
That's awesome.
And,
that is cool.
And if they had a patch, I actually bought the patch as well as a pin. So the 3 Ps every time I go traveling that I get at Hard Rock is I get a pin, a patch, and a pint glass. And the pint glass is always cheaper whenever you get a souvenir pint glass filled with beer, and then you cash it in at the end, and you get the free glass. So
cool.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, he's been across the pond. He's been across the pond over there to London.
Yes, I have been across the pond. I went across the pond to London.
To London? Yes.
We
This
took a
island.
photo in front of that one in London.
Edinburgh, Scotland's in there too.
Scotland. Very nice. Very nice.
I would say probably my favorite pin out of all of those is there's one of a guitar and it's right in the middle.
I see it.
And instead of the guitar neck, it's actually the Space Needle in
Space
Seattle.
Needle. Yep.
From Seattle.
So that's probably one of my favorite ones.
That's a cool place. I've been there.
Does Seattle have an accent now too, Joe?
No, they don't. But I'll think of something.
So,
We're going to
so
stay
Joe,
in Seattle, eh?
No, what if I said I've been to New York City?
I believe it.
New York. You've been to New York, eh?
Yeah. Can you tell me where I can get some coffee?
Some coffee. What did they say? What did they say? Forget about it. Forget about it.
Hey,
Literally,
Not
no
even
one in
kidding.
New Mexico. New Mexico.
Forget about it.
We were in Little
Italy.
Italy.
Hard Rock, you don't like their food, you can forget about it.
Oh wow.
Sleeping with the fishies later. Hey.
Right.
We were in Little Italy, and we went to some place, and the guys they were talking amongst themselves, and I was being nosy. And they said, and I was geeking out. I'm like, oh my God, they said forget about it. I'm
Were
like,
you?
No, Sandy, they did not say forget about it. They said forget about it.
I was waiting for you to say it.
Did you fangirl over it like you did with the beatboxer a couple weeks ago?
Like, oh my gosh, did you hear? Maybe they'll say it again. Eric's like,
Mayo, go back and watch the beatboxer episode and see what Sandy looks like when she fangirls over something.
Oh, really?
Yes. She starts
awesome.
blushing. She turns like 6 shades red and
I know.
starts crying.
Nice.
Let's not bring up that hot mess again.
Nice.
Okay, I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah.
Go back. Okay.
Next picture. Next picture.
All right.
What are you doing?
Oh,
Come on.
that's beautiful.
Yes. So that was actually most of these photos that you see came from my iPhone. And so that one is actually the mountain at Breckenridge, Colorado.
So you've never been there. They were just in your iPhone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Man, in the picture
Hammer nailed it.
Awesome.
No, my sister actually lives. One of my middle sister lives in Loveland, Colorado, and so my girlfriend and I, Taylor, we went up there, and that was actually as we were walking up to the mountain. That was the view that we saw, and so we took a picture of it, and
That's nice.
just
That's,
kind of
It's beautiful.
that's
Yeah,
good
as you-
skiing right there.
as
That's
you
good
can
skiing.
see the wind blowing the snow off the mountain. So.
I didn't know if it was clouds or the wind blowing the snow, but it's beautiful either way.
Yes, I'll just say yes to that, Sandy. And so this is actually a photo that I bought in Sydney, Australia. So one of the things that I try to do is if I go somewhere and they have like a farmer's market or like a street market or something like that, I will go and I will look for local vendors to have either like artwork of the city that I'm in, or some sort of a picture or a print. So that is actually Sydney, Australia. And so I got that because it has two of my favorite things about Australia, which was the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and then of course the Sydney Opera House.
That's awesome.
Are they really like? Does it look like that there? I've never been. So, like, are the bridge and the opera house that close together like that for real?
Oh yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
Like there's like whenever you're standing in the harbor where the ferries come and go, they'll go right underneath that bridge, and then you'll pass right by the opera house. And so, I mean, yeah, they're literally that close.
Yeah.
And that's the ocean in the background, right? Also, so.
Well, it's not necessarily. I mean, yeah, technically it is because it's more of the harbor. Just because the Sydney is on the inside part of the country, and yeah, and then you have the ocean and the sea and all that jazz.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear anybody say throw another shrimp on the barbie?
Throw another shrimp on the Barbie.
Probably.
You get a kick out of it, Sandy.
No, but I did hear a lot of them say "Good day, mate."
Good day, mate. Good day, mate.
So this was
this was a street guy, wasn't it?
yes,
like
it was a street guy, and it was spray paint.
Yep.
So all of that on there is spray paint. And the coolest part about this painting that I really liked is that what you can see is you've got the One World Trade Center right there, but then coming down from the moon, you see these two spotlights, which to me represent the old Twin Towers. And so that's one of the reasons why I like this, because it has the new and the old and just,
Nice.
Because don't the bases actually project a light up now?
I believe they, I'm not 100% sure. I know that because I've actually been to One World Trade Center, and at the base of it, they have these two ponds, or
Right.
these two fountains that they've actually made from where the old Twin Towers used
Right.
to stand. And so, I mean, I've actually been there before. It's very sombering, very, humbling, and everybody that worked in the Twin Towers, as well as the rescue, firemen, police officers, all the EMS that went in the buildings, everybody's name is in the marble. So
Yeah.
really cool.
That's an emotional day. So just set aside an emotional day for going to visit that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Next.
And so this was street art, same thing, spray painted in Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. So you got because it's got the Eiffel Tower, the Bellagio fountains.
And then
I
the
went blank on the pyramid.
Stratosphere.
The Luxor.
The Luxor, yeah.
Oh.
Yep, Luxor, and then of course there's the Stratosphere there. So
See, I was right.
and all of the street art that you see is actually what is behind me on the wall. So my girlfriend and I, we've kind of decorated the wall behind us as kind of like our travel wall.
That's
So if we go
awesome.
somewhere and we either get street art or something like that, then she texts. I see her message that says here. I'm actually looking at it right now in the other room. So.
Instead of aliens, not travel art thing or whatever. It's plain.
Yep.
Fenway.
And so that was taken at Fenway Park.
No ma, hit a homa.
Oh my Garcia Para.
No ma, Garcia Para.
Oh yeah, don't forget about Jason Veritek.
Yeah.
He was a good catcher.
Some clam chowder.
Yep. So, and then of course Wrigley Field. Actually had the privilege of going to Wrigley Field. As you can see under the Wrigley Field sign, it says celebrating 100 years. So the ballpark was built in 1940, 14, and I got to go to it in 2014 to celebrate its 100th anniversary.
Oh wow!
So,
You were there at 9:03.
yep.
Right.
We knew exactly where you're at.
Yep.
And so this is what I was telling you about earlier.
That looks cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
at St. Louis, third deck behind home plate. And I mean, that was the view that we had. And of course, you see the arch in the background.
That's awesome.
I love how they
the-
cut the arch in the grass too.
Yep. That's one of the
What's the
main
name
things
of
that
that
they
field?
do.
Oh, I
That
didn't
is-
notice that.
The name of the field is Busch Stadium. And of course,
Oh,
it's
that's
named
right.
after Anheuser-Busch, that pretty much owns the town.
Yeah.
So there's a funny story that I love that Chicagoans love to tell. And so anytime if you're in Chicago and you do a river and you do like the architectural river tour, they talk about how they reverse the flow of the Chicago River, not to flow into Lake Michigan, but drain towards the Mississippi River. And so what they end up saying is that, we send all of our dirty water down to St. Louis, but they get us back because what they do is they bottle it up and send it right back to us in the form of Budweiser.
Oh,
It's really. I actually remember seeing this stadium when my wife and we celebrated one of our anniversaries there in St. Louis, and I remember we didn't go in the stadium, but we drove by it, and I was like impressed with it. But St. Louis is the birthplace of ooey gooey butter cakes too.
Oh, nice.
So
Thanks
I've never
for
heard
that
of him.
info.
he's a good guy.
Okay.
Wow.
Ooh, this
Yeah,
is-
and that's the one that I was telling you about. That's Oracle Park in San Francisco, and you can kind of see it in the background where Oakland is, but just looking out at the bay and off to the right behind right field, they call it McCovey Cove, and the reason being is because they had a baseball player that played for the Giants, and his last name was McCovey. I think his first name was Willie McCovey. Don't quote me on that.
It was Willie.
First name. Yeah, Willie McCovey. And so they named the cove after him. And whenever Barry Bonds was on the juice, he hit it into the drink a lot. So
Yep. And they have people in kayaks there trying to catch the balls and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yep.
For
really?
real?
yep,
Yeah.
they'll have people in kayaks, and they'll have people on sailboats and regular boats. And actually, while we were there watching, there's a party boat that went around and hung around for a couple of innings too. So
And how
That's
cold
nice.
is it right there?
How
well,
cold is-
the wind is blowing in, so it does get a little chilly once the sun goes down. But to me, it was nothing unbearable. Just carry a jacket.
Yeah.
And where was this again?
That's in San Francisco, California.
Wow.
Yep. And that was at that was at Citi Field in New York City, and that's a picture of me and my girlfriend Taylor. And the what you see to the left is the old home run apple that they had at Shea Stadium. Whenever a Mets player Shea Stadium was the stadium that they had before Citi Field, and so whenever a player would hit a home run, the Mets apple would come up.
Oh.
Oh,
Like
that's
that
cool.
thing physically lifts up.
Yep. It
Oh.
would pop up out of I think it was from behind center field, and it was New York, the Big Apple. So they just kind of had the home run apple.
Okay.
So this was kind of a collage that I did of whenever we traveled to London, and so of course you've got what many people would think is the London Bridge on the top left. I'll go top to bottom. That's actually the Tower Bridge, and so that's actually one of the famous bridges in London, the Tower Bridge, and then the picture next to it, of course, is the London Eye wheel, as well as one of the iconic double-decker buses that they have for transportation around there.
So that wheel, when I see that a lot of times in shows and movies that I watch from, like BBC One or whatever, that's called the one. What? Say it
It's called the London Eye.
again? London Eye.
Yes,
Huh.
but as you can see, it's red, and I believe Coca-Cola sponsors it. And well, that was one of the main sponsors we saw when we were there. And so they call it the Coca-Cola London Eye, and I think that's why it's red, because they sponsor it. So
That is so
It's
cool.
it's like a slow turning, so you get to see the whole city, and it's pretty awesome.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool to put a name with it now, because I literally have seen that every time they always show London. They
Yeah, I
always
just
show
thought it
that
was a
thing.
big Ferris wheel.
Right. Which it is.
Yep. So, and then of course I just took a picture of the London Bridge. We did the underground while we were over there, and my favorite thing that they say whenever you take the subway in London is mind the gap.
Yeah. At first we were like, why does it say mind the gap? We didn't know what they were talking about, but yeah, that was pretty cool. I wanted to get a mind the gap shirt and I didn't.
Yep.
But what does it mean then?
It's mind the gap. So it means basically in the States, it means watch your step. All right.
What's your step?
Well, you don't help him out, please.
I'm sorry. I'm a terrible influencer.
I've always wanted to do a show with an accent.
Oh, you want to do a whole London show? Well, then, in honor of Joe, I can do the rest.
Oh my God.
That is lovely. You are a lovely man.
So both of Jamie's eyes are twitching. Usually it's just one.
So, of course, the one right underneath the Tower Bridge, that's Buckingham Palace.
Oh, the Queen lives there.
Yes, if you go to Buckingham Palace and you see the flag
Excuse me,
is up,
what you say?
and you see the flag is up, that means that the Queen is there.
Flag is.
Okay.
Did you try to mess with the guards?
Some people do, but they don't move a muscle. I swear, they
No,
don't
do not mess with the guards, and especially when they're doing their what is it called?
Changing
they're
of the
really
guard.
stomping around.
Whenever they do that famous thing, the changing of the guard. Oh man, we watched a lady on a horse get onto these people that were acting dumb. But anyway,
They regulated, didn't they? They mounted up.
yeah, I'll send you that video. It's pretty funny.
Oh,
Eric
nice.
didn't even realize that he caught it, and I was like, "Hey, listen to this." And the lady was yelling at these fools. It was
Regulators.
Holla.
Mount up.
All right.
But it would have been more of a mount up.
Yeah.
And then the one in the middle is, of course, Parliament and Big Ben. But while we were there in London, Big Ben was actually going through a 3-year renovation. So it is all covered up, and all you could see is just the clock face.
Mayo, I think we were there 2 weeks after you were.
Because you got to see it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. No, well, I got to see his Instagram post, and I'm like, oh, he's going to think I'm following him, but we pretty much followed your same pattern.
Yeah. And then the one right next to it, that is London Tower. And that's the castle right there by the Tower Bridge. And then the bottom left it's a city called Bath. And basically what it is there was a natural spring that would come up. So kind of very similar to Hot Springs, Arkansas. There was natural spring that would come up, and it was hot water. And so people would go there and take a bath and steam showers and stuff like that. And basically kind of what Sandy feels like whenever she goes to the chiropractor. She would feel rejuvenated.
Yes,
And,
like $1 million.
Yep, like $1 million. And so that's
Like $1 million.
so they had
$1 million
the
pounds.
and that was one of the cool thing about everywhere that I've traveled internationally. Whenever you're in the main city, they always have these guided tours that take you outside the city. And so Bath and so the bottom three were all the ones that we saw on our guided tour outside of London. And so you have Bath on the left, and then you have Wimberley Castle in the middle. And so the flag was up, which means that the Queen was actually in. And coincidentally enough, I think if we were there 2 weeks before you were, Sandy, we were there, I think, right before Meghan Markle had her baby. And so when we went to Wimberley Castle, there was all this press and all these video cameras and live feeds of the news wanting to get a glimpse of Meghan Markle.
The baby.
Yep. So, and then of course the one on the far right is one of my favorites, and that was Stonehenge.
Stonehenge.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So we didn't get to see the 3 bottom ones. We didn't get to go out there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it would have that would have definitely been worth your time. They were.
I wanted to go to Stonehenge, but it just didn't work out.
Yep.
So, Mayo, we are getting close to the end of the show, and I think we still have some more slides to do.
So we'll just show them and then.
To go.
Yeah, so we're just gonna zip past them and just
No
kind of
worries.
okay. So
It's Australia right there.
Look, koala bear. Is that real or is that a postcard?
No, that was actually a koala bear. So at the Taronga Zoo in Sydney, Australia, they have a place where you can go and you can't touch the koala bear because they say that if you touch it, a koala bear that's been touched by human hands lives a shorter lifespan than one that's not.
Oh.
So the ones that they have at the zoo, you can't really touch. But yeah, it was literally right there in front of us. So
Cool.
Nice.
even
That
if he
is
reaches
fire.
out for you, you gotta be like, "Sorry, dude, you're gonna die if you do."
exactly. You just
No,
gotta
know what?
you gotta stand back.
You
So.
couldn't go because you'd be like, "I'll give you ojo. I gotta touch you," and then you have to touch it.
Or you just gotta carry around a bunch of eggs with you.
Carry an egg and some sage.
Okay.
And then that was in Seattle, Washington.
That's Seattle.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
will tell you, if you ever get a chance to go to Seattle, Washington, go to the public market center. That's where they throw the fish and
Oh.
and the guys catch it.
Uh-huh.
But I'll tell you, it was they do have an open market there where people will actually take the salmon and either smoke it or cook it or whatnot, and you'll actually have salmon on a stick. And they had this garlic flavored salmon on a stick. Oh my gosh, it was the best salmon I'd ever had in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, it was
It
delicious.
was the best salmon he'd ever had.
Salmon.
The L is
Salmon.
salmon.
You can do whatever you want during these times. You can say salmon.
You sure can.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So real quick, this is one of our top fans here.
Carrie and
She was actually at Mountain Rushmore last week, and she sent me these photos, and I was like, "We're gonna include them last week," and I did, but we didn't go through here because of things.
My fault.
Not your fault.
so
Oh, that's-
Carrie, her brother,
That's Boise.
Boise State. Nice.
Carrie and her awesome parents.
Nice.
She was who you're friends with first, right, Sandy?
I was friends with her dad. Yeah, I met her dad first.
Ah, okay.
Get your guns up.
Oh, and then
and
that's
this
it.
is He's find.
I found this at my job. It was on someone's desk, and I was like, "I have been looking for that cereal, and I couldn't find it anywhere." So
Do you take it and
If-
put it in your backpack?
I would have.
So, Mayo, as
Yeah.
we were saying before, we usually have when you have a guest on, we like for them to bring up a topic that we can cover for a future episode. And so, having that in mind, do you have a topic that you'd like to share with us? Actually, I think I did that. I should have done that last. So let's rewind it a little bit. I'm going to give you a moment here to plug whatever it is you want to plug, and then I want you to answer the question I asked you just a second ago. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Unbelievable, mate.
All right. So what I would like to plug is, of course, my 2 Instagram pages, and one of them I really would like your help with. So the one that Sandy was talking about at the beginning of the show, Guns Up Around the World. Everywhere I go, I try to show my love for Texas Tech, and that's the whole reason why I created the page, was to share my love of travel and of Texas Tech. And so I've also got my the traveling condiment that you see down here. This is also my Instagram page as well. It's got more traveling stuff, a few things about Lubbock and Tech, but those are Texas Tech and traveling is what I really love, and so that's what I wanted to do. And I'll just get it in real quick. I've been to 30 states here domestically, so I've got 20 left to go. I've been to 9 countries, and my future travels are Broken Bow, Oklahoma, Cancun, Mexico, and Italy. So fingers crossed everything goes well, and we can travel to Mexico and Italy later on this year.
Awesome.
Yes, speak it. You can do it.
That's right. And with that, I asked you the question
Veganade.
before. What's the
Take that veganase off. That's a disgrace to real Mayos around the world.
Unfortunately, it's also one of the few free pictures I can use.
Okay, so I'll actually give you 2 because one of them I don't know if you're going to be that interested in, because originally I wanted to say if you could go to a baseball game, what would be your ideal hot dog? Would you do like a Texas chili dog, chili and cheese? Like, what's your favorite topping on a hot dog?
Okay.
So
like
that's
that
the
one.
one that I was originally going to go with, but since y'all don't like baseball that much,
Right. Next.
Oh, baseball and hot dogs are separate to me. That's two separate things.
You can separate it.
I heard you say what's my favorite hot dog, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and then the rest of it, he just.
I just was kind of like hot dog. Okay.
well, I guess I could stay with what would be your favorite topping on a hot dog?
Okay, and your
Okay.
next one?
Yeah, go with the other one. What was
My
the
next one is so if you travel to Vegas, where would you rather stay when you're in Vegas? On Fremont Street or the Strip?
Ooh, wait. Ooh.
Yes.
So would you rather be Vegas casinos in Old Town Vegas or the Strip in Newtown Vegas?
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's probably a little bit more realistic.
Okay.
We
Thank
can do
you.
that.
Where
We
would
can
you
do
eat a
that.
hot dog? Old Vegas or New Vegas? There you go.
Oh, there you go.
That's like, did you ever see that old Saturday Night Live episode where Harry Carey, if you were a hot dog and you were hungry, would you eat yourself? I know I would. I'd slather myself in mustard and relish. I think Carrie.
Yeah, he would.
It's like Carrie was reading my mind because she knew that's where I was
Carrie
going.
can read all of our minds.
He
She
really
has.
can. It's
Can.
kind of freaky.
It's scary, actually.
Yeah.
So for Friday's guest, Carrie, because it's Freaky Friday that she's always reading my
Right.
mind.
I don't know if we said Friday was Freaky Friday, but
All right. It's a surprise, remember?
Surprise Friday.
Surprise Friday.
Hey, Sandy, ¿cómo se dice surprise?
Sorpresa.
Sorpresa.
Or surprise. You can just say surprise
Right.
too.
No, how do you say it, Joe?
It's like
L-
I'd say
That's how I have to practice when
That was
Eric
pretty
tells
good,
me
Joe.
something.
like to
Oh,
practice that.
Sandy, stop.
I do, right, babe? I'm always like shocked, even though I already know what it is because I snoop around. I'm like,
Oh, really? See, we in our house we do it opposite. Like you get what you ask for, and you literally ask for whatever you want. It's kind of weird, but I'm like, okay. It's 15 years now. I've done trying to change it, so I'm like, okay, this is what I want.
well, I'm getting more practical in my old age.
Yeah, I just buy it if I want it too. All
I
right.
know. As a kid, I hated getting socks and underwear, but as an adult, I'm like, oh my gosh, I so needed this.
Yeah.
Right.
How did you know?
Is this the next? I get the new pair of underwear? Yes.
Right.
Fuck. All right, man. Well, it was a blast having you. Thanks for coming back
Thanks,
on and giving us
Mayo.
another
Yeah.
chance.
Thanks,
And-
guys, for giving me another chance. I really do appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and thanks for those that stuck around because that was awesome. It was a tour of the world, actually.
Right. Tour de France. Oh, wait.
Mayo, we will let you go. You have a good night, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yep.
Right. That was awesome. So
That was a good redux.
it was
Yeah.
Redux. Redux.
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
It's okay.
It's like acid reflux, I bet.
Ooh.
El Surpriso.
All right,
Very
guys.
good. Very good, Abner.
So please join us tomorrow night because we don't know what we have planned yet, but whatever
It's
it is,
Surprise Wednesday, y'all.
It's a work in progress.
Every
Friday
day
we
is a
have-
surprise.
yeah, Friday's purposefully a surprise. Wednesday and Thursday are surprisingly surprise days. But come back. I promise we're going to have something good. Okay?
We'll figure it out. We'll figure
We
it out.
got it. We got it. We got
We always do it for you. We always do it for you.
We're really good at this.
it.
Yeah.
Winging it.
We like to wing it.
We like
So,
to wing it.
All right, everyone. As usual,
Remember to wash your hands.
and have a good
Oh
for
my
20
goodness.
seconds.
You filthy animals.
And have a good night. I think
Have a
that's
good night.
what
Is that
I'm
what we're gonna do? Tell them
Toodles.
have a good night. And
Are you
remember,
gonna-
be back for the after show party sometime soon.
when are we
Okay.
doing that?
Sometime
I
soon.
think you
Oh.
said it'll be a surprise.
I think we should do
I
the
can-
after show tomorrow
For the whole show.
for the whole show.
That's a good idea.
We
Let's
should
have a
do what?
totally unscripted show for the
'Cause
entire
we're
show.
like, what do we want to talk about? I don't know. What you want to talk about? We just
Well-
need to keep asking each other that. I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
And see what happens.